Welcome to the United We Scan podcast, the podcast by rural carriers for rural carriers. The views expressed in this podcast are of the presenters and the presenters only and do not represent the views, opinions, or strategies of the United States Postal Service or the National Rural Letter Carriers Association. We ask that you please consult your assigned union representative for guidance in your local area. Please like this podcast, share with your fellow rural carriers, and subscribe to be notified each time a new episode is uploaded. Please leave a comment or question for us below. Thank you. Now, here are the hosts of the United We Scan podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 127, News, Views, and Management. We're going to get right into this, starting right off. Josh, how was your week?
Hot, 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 hot. And hot. Any more questions? I guess the term hot as shit applies. Tuesday, I walk out to my vehicle and I barely can breathe. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And I've still got a route to deliver. Yesterday, I walked outside to load my vehicle, and no joke, I was pouring sweat. I had to wring out my shirt. I'm thinking, holy crap, I haven't even started the route yet. I've just loaded the van. Y'all, please, like I keep saying, make sure you're hydrating. Start now. While you're listening to this podcast, while we're recording, go grab you a drink. Not caffeinated. Make sure you're getting plenty of
alcohol.
Well, that's impossible for you, Bill. Wait your turn.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, make sure you're hydrating. This weather kills people. I saw a thing on Sunday morning this morning on CBS. Aside from floods, like the one in Texas this past week, and I'd like to send my thoughts and prayers to everybody involved down there. Aside from floods, heat is the second cause of death this time of year. That's horrible. I mean, it's bad enough that we're in easy bake ovens, but when you see pictures of carriers with the infrared thermometers, 136, 147, I'm thinking, if you put your foot where that exhaust is running, never mind you're in a vehicle, what happens if the rubber on your shoes starts getting tacky? I mean, y'all be careful. But no, my week was good. Amazon was just, well, Amazon, and it's probably going to continue throughout the week next week. But yeah, I mean, normal week at the post office. I actually found out from management that several RCAs and PTFs are going to be getting what I call duck truck training. And hopefully I can get some training too. I'm actually looking to train on the ProMaster and the 2-ton because I have a post office pickup on my route now. And like tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'll have to have assistance because last Monday I had 7 or 8 carts, and an RCA and management were gracious enough to help me by getting 5 of them. Otherwise, I would have never gotten done and made the truck. So, normal week at the post office for me is just, it's hot, y'all. Bill, how was your week?
Oh God, another stressful retired week with the grandson. This is my first week solo with my grandson on Wednesday, and we both survived. We got thoroughly wet between the hose and the showers that we had here, playing out in the back deck. Hot. You're right, and you know it's bad when you go outside and you take a breath of air and you feel the humidity going into your lungs. That is oppressive. I've always enjoyed the wintertime because the crispness keeps you awake and vibrant. Being cold never fazed me, but heat is one of those things where, no, thank you. If God wanted you to work in this weather, He wouldn't have invented air conditioning. Of course, most of us, have never known air conditioned vehicles in our lives. The the main part of my week in regards to replying to people was basically in regards to what our topics will be tonight, and we'll get into them because it seems that management's just cracking down on innuendo, rural carriers, and it's just heartbreaking to see this. God, I wish I was in there to fight this stuff because I'd have a field day with these people. They're so stupid, but you know what are you gonna do? It's what you have to deal with in regards to management, and you just go out, do your job, be professional, be efficient, be safe, and get back. And hopefully, every day, when you get through there'll be less, stress. But God bless you, people. I know what you're going through, um, and I pray for you all. It's just sad. So, except for raining every day during the week and this upcoming week, I'm doing fine. Pennsylvania's out of the drought situation it's been in for 2 years, and I'm sick and tired of damn rain. I don't have to bag up no damn boxes of dog food or anything like that. James, how about yourself?
Well, just like everybody else, I've been in and out of heat and rain and heat and rain and heat and rain, and it's been, about normal. Um, Parcels weren't too bad, especially with the week that we've had. But you brought up the heat. We've been bringing up the heat this entire time. I wanted to talk about something I found out through a bunch of other people telling me what's happening around this country. Their Mercedes Metris vans air conditioning is going out. It's breaking. And management's response is we don't have to fix it because you can still deliver with the vehicle. They're not going to fix the AC when it's broken. So even if we get these duck trucks with the AC in them, if it breaks, is management going to fix it, or are they going to leave it alone because we can still deliver just like we do in the LLV?
May I
And
say
that's
something,
putting
James?
people at risk. Hold on, I'm not done
Right.
yet.
All right.
But that's the problem with using automotive AC in these vehicles too. Is they're not designed for stop and go cooling. They're designed for traveling highway speeds, traveling around. You even in your local driving where you're doing 25, 30 miles an hour in between traffic lights, that's still enough for the AC to work properly. But when you're sitting and idling and then going and then idling and then going and then idling, it's not having enough time for that compressor to work properly. It needs enough RPMs to actually compress the AC refrigerant properly. And that's why they're failing. We have to figure something out because we can't keep going on with no AC anymore. Temperatures are higher than they have been in a lot of times. They cycle. You can take from that inference whatever you wish, but we got to do something to protect our people from this heat. And as others have said, hydrating is one of the best ways to do it. Keep yourself full of fluids so you can sweat them out. But when you have it so humid out there that you're literally sopping wet just from the air, not even from your sweat, but from the air itself, it becomes a major problem. And that's where air conditioning comes in because it can cool the air, remove the moisture from the air, so that way you can actually properly cool off. Go ahead, Josh.
I am in receipt of some information about the duck trucks, specifically the EVs. When the AC goes on the EV ones, the whole truck is dead because
Nice.
What?
it can't cool the battery.
Well, now that just makes me want to have an electric one more than anything else.
No, tell me you're lying.
According to Facebook, asterisk, big asterisk, but that's what I saw.
Oh
Nice.
God. Oh Lord.
You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't.
We don't have to. It writes itself.
Exactly.
You know, when I bought a Grand Caravan to use as a POV, the first thing I did was get an extra air conditioning, extra radiator unit for my air conditioning and my transmission. Cost me about $1,100. I've both installed. And somebody said, "Well, yeah, that's $1,100 you wasted." A month later, when their transmission went, and the mechanic told him what happened. He says, "Oh no," he says, the way you guys drive, you have to have an extra cooler on there." Yeah, well, $3,800 later, he wished he'd spent $1,100. I mean, if you don't keep them vehicles, in optimum condition and give them all the extra, care they need, like the extra cooling systems on there, they're going to let you down. That's an expensive lesson to learn, especially with the stop and go that, if you're in a suburban rural area, where you have a lot more stop and go, or some of the truly rural areas, at least you get some speed up in between boxes. But, yeah, the stop and go is killing you. And the other thing about the duck trucks is the braking system that engages when you get too near something, like a mailbox or a trash can next to the mailbox. I'm hearing some of the carriers are having real problems, getting used to that. As you approach a mailbox or a trash can near the mailbox, the truck is braking itself.
But Bill, it wants you to be safe.
Yeah, but with that auto braking in there, that's going to add time onto your 5-speed matrix.
Oh yeah.
Their frequency, my blood pressure and cholesterol medicine are both heat related too.
Yep. So, speaking of on the road,
On the road.
it's been coming to our attention that management is now disciplining carriers for hitting already passed address on the SPM scans. This has came to us from multiple different states, multiple different offices, that carriers are being PDI'd and then disciplined for hitting already passed address. Now, I do know a little insider information on this, and the reason management is upset in a lot of ways is because a new directive came down to management that if a carrier is hitting already passed address, they have to first investigate the GPS locations of when the SPM initiated on the scanner, where the carrier clicked already passed address, and if the GPS is accurate to that location, to the point they have to drive out there and do a GPS audit at the location. And we all know management's lazy as they'll get out and doesn't want to go out there and do that. So the lazy ones are turning around and just doing discipline instead for carriers clicking already passed address, even if they're being accurate on the SPM. Discuss, guys.
Well, this has always been one of my favorites because of the fact that why are we doing SPMs on stuff that's been run through an automated DPS sorting machine? And since you have informed delivery, couldn't you see what was going there? But they're confirming that we're actually delivering it. No, I'm taking the mail home with me, like that supervisor that had the drugs in the mail. This is a problem because of the fact that a lot of times people will skip them because they want to go somewhere, they want to be somewhere. It's your duty to do the SPMs when you're at the mailbox. It is not your duty to remove the mail from the mailbox because you went half an inch forward and the SPM went off. Once you throw that mail is considered delivered and you're done with that box. Any good steward, local area, ADR will be able to fight that for you. The fact of the matter is that 9 times out of 10, if your SPM goes off, you already have your foot off the brake, your foot on the gas, and you're pulling away when it goes off. The most horrendous situation I've heard this week was a supervisor requiring a carrier to go back out to the route after they return to the office, do an SPM. As we earlier had discussed, James, what if the customer already got the mail out of the mailbox? Okay, so you just wasted a trip. Are you getting paid the 3 minutes a mile for it because it's been authorized by the supervisor or the postmaster to go back and do due diligence on something that really isn't going to change the world? But the inane asinity of management to sit there and accuse you of avoiding doing it, like James said, without doing their due diligence of going out and checking the GPS, what they call it, geodots, and where the mailbox is, that's on them. If I got an SPM, I do my SPMs. Why? Because I'm paid to do the SPMs. But if you if you get an SPM alert once you pass the mailbox, once you put the mail in the mailbox, that delivery is complete. And I don't give a rat's ass where the SPM goes off. It's just another function of them harassing us. And I don't know what everybody's opinion is, but they've seemed to have stepped up to harassment in the last couple of years. Even more so in the last year in regards to disciplining. It's like we used to laugh how the police used to have a quota for speeding tickets or traffic stops, and at the end of the month, the cops were more aggressive. It's almost like management has a quota to reach on discipline for the carriers. Not to assist the carriers, but to punish them. And I don't understand the mentality. And we all know where it's coming from.
I would say
Gosh.
that instead of having the scanner just beep randomly, I mean, you think about it from a new person's perspective and you hear that scanner beep, what's your instinct? Your instinct is to pick it up. What do you incur then? You incur distracted driving. What it needs to do, and I know they can do this, should say something along the lines of, alert, you have an upcoming sampling request at this address. There you go. Nice and simple. Nobody needs to be picking up the scanner and driving distracted. It's simple, but do they do it? No. We were told in our office that we were to stop and go back and get them out of the box. And I'm thinking, hold on. No, once I put that in there, that delivery is complete. No, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. Because then, to expand upon what you said, Bill, if they want us to get out, no, the customer we already collected, they may be right at their mailbox when you deliver. Also, that's putting me in an unsafe situation because I have to park my vehicle per postal policy and I have to exit the vehicle. Never mind that it could be on a busy highway or a backcountry road where nobody's coming, but still, you're outside of that vehicle and that puts you in a possibility of getting hit. Um, it's like someone said, the certifies and the return receipts, they're in there. Those samplings should show up. It's not that hard to do. If they could do it for stuff run on the machine like a certified or return receipt, what's the rest of our mail run on? Oh, yeah, I forgot it's run on automated equipment. Everything is run on automated equipment, it seems nowadays, except for clerk sorted mail, which even then that's probably been run. But the only thing that really isn't run is the bundled flats. And somehow, I don't know if this is true for y'all, my informed delivery knows when I'm getting certain magazines. And marketing mail.
Yeah,
Got quiet.
It could be easy. This could be easily solved.
Yes.
City carriers know every SPM they're going to have at the beginning of the day. Why can't rural carriers have something like the certified mails that we have now, where it lists what certifieds we have in our DPS, which proves they know what's in the DPS coming to our office? Why can't they put so many SPMs and list the addresses that they're at? We can't skip to them. We can't fill them out before we get there, but at least we know, hey, pause for a second at this address. You have an SPM there. That would give us time to actually do the SPM, complete the SPM. We know it's coming, and it makes it so much easier. And if you guys really want to think about it, you can look at them during loading time in the morning. So that way you're getting credit for it in Rex that you're looking at your SPMs. So that way you know what's coming down the route. If management would actually get their head out of their backside and think of what would make this job easier for these carriers, it's easily solvable.
Well, James,
Man.
not even easier. How about better informed? How about my office where I've got carriers calling up? I'm getting an I&I because I didn't hold a customer's mail. Did you get the hold notice? No. Okay. I'm getting an I&I for not forwarding mail. Did you get the COA label? No. And then they go back to management and ask them to print them off, and 14 print off for their damn route. It's like, are like you said, get off your damn ass and do your job. I mean, most carriers that have an established route know their people well enough, and if they don't, they ought to start. I would say, if you're going away, put a copy of your forward or notice or your hold notice in the mailbox for me. I said, I can't trust management to give it to me in a timely fashion, and they would. And then their phone numbers are on there, and I would make sure you're coming back tomorrow so I can drop off the mail. Okay, I'm doing that on my own time, but that's part of my customer service. That's the way I always handled my customers, because we're here to serve them. And yet management does nothing to assist us in providing that service.
Well, I'm going to say this about the SPMs. Allegedly, when we're delivering parcels to that mailbox, we should be collecting a map spot, right?
Yep.
I mean, assuming you're delivering that parcel correctly, when you hit the mailbox, not literally hit, but figuratively hit that mailbox to place that parcel in there and you scan it and it makes that beep, I've been led to believe that's the GPS coordinates are collected. So if you're doing that, why in the world is it showing mailboxes as 600 feet off when you're sitting there and at most it's arm's length away? Come on now.
Mm-hmm. And we had that problem years ago when they first started doing this. And I have a certified says I'm 385 feet away from the residence. I'm standing at the front door.
Yeah.
What? I mean, they've gotten a little better, but even still, you still have malfunctions. And it may be, you're in your DPM. It may be that your dismounts and all are not correct, or they're missing, even that. So, make sure you go in and do your monthly DPM and LTM. Remember, get that on, end of shift duty too.
Well, even if you don't do your DPM and LTM religiously, if that scanner is to be believed, if it's so accurate, in all honesty, you shouldn't have to do your DPM and LTM except maybe a few times a year. Because if it's collecting map spots, I mean, I've seen the the package that was delivered to the wrong address, and I had to go look for it. It was right on the money. It was within 2 feet.
At least the carrier scanned it where they delivered it.
Yeah.
speaking of end of shift duties,
Ooh,
man,
as we segue.
as we segue again, management is bringing back a bane to city carriers and rural carriers. They're bringing back the red line policy of you cannot pass this red line until we inspect everything you brought back. Bill, you brought this up to me when we discussed prior to the episode, so you take the lead on this one.
This is one of my favorite policies because it has nothing to do with rural carriers. It's a city carrier, and they're trying to roll it over into the rural craft. The first problem we had at our SDNC is that there's not enough people on duty at the end of the day to enforce it. Second of all, favoritism plays into the regards of how it's actually justice is dispensed in enforcing the red line policy. This red line policy, yeah, and to me, this is just more micromanaging than anything else. Is a bane because of the fact that all it's doing is adding time onto carriers. For rural carriers, like I said, it doesn't pertain to us, so you just fight it. You go to your duly elected union representative and fight it, okay? But for the city carriers, when you're in a SDNC and you have two supervisors on duty handling the city carrier craft, they've got lines backed up like you were at Costco trying to get through that process at the end of the day. How much money is that costing you? How hard is it for you to examine their hampers as they're pushing their carts in with their empty equipment and everything to see what they have and, yay or nay or whatever? I've never watched their actual process. But the fact of the matter is you're costing the company money again. Anybody in the rural craft that gets directed to the red line policy should immediately ask for it in black and white. If they don't provide it, then you ask for them to give you a handwritten, signed statement that this policy is inclusive of the rural craft. Then you proceed to obey their instructions. And then you go home and you call your local union representative. Put an end to this crap before it starts. We are entrusted with people's checks, their Social Security checks, Medicare, medicine, vital medicines for a lot of people. They're goods that they buy from Amazon, from Walmart, from Target. We're entrusted with some of the most pertinent and personal information they have. And yet we're treated like grade school children when it comes to the end of the day to see what we're bringing back. Are there people who abuse the system? Yes. And you should know who they are if you're a good supervisor or manager. But 99% of the craft are honest, legitimate employees who care about doing their jobs the right way every day. So, you want me to cross a red line? I would. And I would cross it to come right at you because I wouldn't tolerate this shit. And I know it's easy for me to say I'm retired, but that's the way I'd handle it when they first tried to instill it at Westchester. And I crossed the line. And the supervisor said, no, you have to wait there. And I said, no, I don't. I'm giving you an order. I said, I don't care. That's a city rule. It's not a rural craft rule. Well, I'm going to write you up. I threw him a pen. I said, start writing. Went to my case, took care of my stuff, signed out, went home. You know what happened? Not a damn thing. Not because I'm Bill May and I know the rules better than they did, but because they actually looked into it and said, "Oh yeah, this isn't for rural craft; it's for city carriers."
Andrew Bill May know rules better than them.
Yes, it is. It's the same way when they mandated regulars to work on a Sunday. Came by with printed sheets with our names on there, mandating us to work Sundays. This was a Friday afternoon. And I turned around, went to the postmaster, and said, here you go. I got a copy. I said, you'll be getting the grievance on Monday for this. He goes, well, if you're not here, you're going to be written up. I said, have fun. By Saturday afternoon, we all had notes on our cases saying, oh, this was a sample thing that we printed out for the city carriers. It wasn't meant for rural carriers. Well, I had already made 2 phone calls that day and got that, shit got down. If you act quickly enough, you can get things resolved. Sometimes it doesn't have to go to griefs. My problem is the fact that you started this whole situation by not knowing your own damn rules and contracts. In the rant.
The easiest question you can ask management over that is, can you show me where the red line policy is in the PO 603 return to office duties for rural carriers?
Yep.
It's not listed anywhere there. In fact, everything that's listed in there says we go back to our case and do all the stuff you want to do with the red line policy. Josh, your
That's
input?
it. Ask for it in writing.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
I got one more item for us the rant on, James.
Well, let's. Josh, do you have anything you want to rant on first? Because I know what Bill wants to rant on.
All right, I'm going to
No, you
rant.
don't.
All right, here's the deal. It's very simple. It's not your vehicle. I get it. These vehicles can be shitty. I get it. Please drive a postal vehicle like you would want your vehicle driven. We're not doing 100 plus miles per hour, as like that one carrier did in the Metris, which I'm surprised that Mercedes held together, but I digress. I'm sick and tired of coming back from my day off or when I have to take care of business outside of the post office and seeing new dents on my vehicle or other vehicles. My vehicle, the left sliding door of my Metris looks like someone, I don't know what the hell they hit. And they're saying that if we damage our vehicles, if we wreck them, you will recall 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, I forget. I'm getting old. We had a RCA that was in a wreck, totaled our Metris. They're saying that, well, that you may have to start using your own vehicles. Okay, y'all. Here's the deal. Don't drive it like you stole it. Show some respect to these vehicles. Yes, we rag on management all the time, but we're lucky enough, some of us, to have vehicles provided by the post office. Thank God, because if you've looked at the price of new vehicles or old vehicles lately, they're expensive, and they can't hold near as what these Metrises can. I know a Jeep Wrangler can hold damn a third of what a Metris can. Drive them safe and sane. Be aware that yes, the doors do open. These Metrises, while they turn well, they're big. I'll tell you this: if I get a duck truck put on my route, I may just have to make everyone aware. Look, this is a brand new vehicle. Yes, we make fun of it. It's goofy looking. Ha ha! It looks like it's made by Pixar. But what does that reflect on us when we're driving a vehicle down the road that looks like it has been ratted out, trashed out? It's got paint from hitting parking bollards and God knows what else. There's scratches all down it. And then the scratches go down to the paint. Then it starts to rust. What does that make us look like? I understand we're rural carriers and we get dirty and all that, but come on, folks, let's be professional. It's not that hard. So if you're one of those that drives a Metris like a maniac, stop it. If you're somebody who struggles to maintain control of a vehicle because, well, your driving skills aren't 100%, you need to learn to drive. I'm sorry. I don't want to have the possibility of me providing a vehicle because somebody wrecked my Metris and they can't get a new one. And they say, "Well, Josh, you may have to provide a vehicle." And I might just start laughing, and they'll say, "What's wrong?" I said, "Wait a minute. You put a post office pickup on my route." Yes, we did. Okay. Um, the only thing I can buy to service that pickup on any regular day is like a Ford Transit extended wheelbase or something big like a ProMaster. But they don't come in right-hand drive, so I can't deliver mail out of that. So, again, if you're driving like an idiot, stop. This goes for fueling a vehicle. Sunday, yes, I get it. I saw my carrier today. She had over 100 stops in her truck. But take the time to fill it up. End of rant. Bill, James, go.
Well, let me go
Tag
on
onto
that
that.
for you. Yeah, I'll tag on to that. You know, my LLV, it's a 1990 LLV. I know the year of it, yes. One day I came back and the little corner that sticks out in the wheel well from in front of the door there was bent in. I immediately told management, hey, this wasn't like that when I left it. Turned out that the RCA, who no longer works for the Postal Service, had taken the off-road path to go to a house and hit a giant rock in the road and bent it in. And, you know, I take pride in my truck. Yes, over half my section is dirt roads, and my truck is dirty from dirt roads. But I try to take care of it because guess what? There aren't a lot of vehicles available. And the ones that they bring to replace them while they're working on trucks are in worse condition than the other vehicles that we have. So we pride ourselves in my office of taking care of our trucks and keeping our trucks running because you're going to get something that doesn't work right just from the VMF. And as somebody else pointed out in our chat, I'm going to bring this up. I had this discussion with John Adams myself. When a route is assigned a government vehicle, management is required to provide a vehicle to that route. You can volunteer to use your personal vehicle to deliver, but you are not required to. And should management fail to provide a government vehicle to the assigned carrier of the day, that means either the regular or the RCA, then that regular or RCA is paid the route's evaluation, and management has to find an RCA with a vehicle to deliver that route. You are not required to provide it if you are the assigned carrier of that route. So management threatening, oh, you're going to have a POV on that route, that's not going to work either. Because once a government vehicle is assigned, they are required to use a POV or use a government vehicle. And unless there's not one available and they're not willing to pay O-time, then they have to pay you the evaluation. Don't let them fool you. Unless the route is unencumbered, it means nobody's assigned to that route. They cannot take away the government vehicle from that route without mutual agreement with the carrier assigned to the route. Don't let them fool you. Bill, your turn.
On this or on the next rant?
On this.
Oh, you're right. It's one of those situations where a supervisor will come over to a sub and take their vehicle off of them to give them to a regular. And I would step back and say, I'm sorry, the vehicle's assigned to the route, not to, the office per se, even though the route's in the office. Well, we don't want the regular to have to wait. Well, financially, yes, you do, because the regular's getting paid evaluated, and if they're under 56 hours per week, you're in the clear. In the meantime, you're going to be paying the sub overtime. Well, it's our decision. Okay, go ahead. And I would turn around if the sub was over 90 days. I would explain to them how to file a grievance for that. And they would look at me and I'd say, well, it's not that you're just getting paid for the time you're waiting, but we're going to get a financial penalty on top of that. They're like, well, how much? I said, how much do you want to go for? One guy said to me, $500. I said, fine, we'll go for $500. We settled for $250. And he just about shit himself, saying, well, how can you do that? I said, they violated the contract. And if you don't give them permission, he said, well, I thought I had to because I'm not a regular. It has nothing to do with it. It's called the contract. You have to follow the contract. Everybody does. If you want to turn around and do that, good luck collecting your EMA, because payroll has enough problems paying your regular paycheck, your overtime, helping on other routes, let alone paying you EMA on a government route, government vehicle route. So don't surrender the vehicle, and they can't take it off of you. If they want to and force you to, then you file a second grievance. And this is for harassment. I would say that because of the fact that they are threatening you with the removal of your vehicle against your will. That's harassment. I'd file one for them being ugly too, just to piss them off. And James, don't laugh. I inadvertently put a fake grievance in like that and forgot to pull it, and the postmaster almost pissed himself reading it.
Yeah, but we're also missing another factor in these grievances, and using a POV in the route. You're not getting proper credit for the route, even if they pay you the EMA, because there's a different credit for DPS on a POV route.
Correct.
It's slightly higher for a POV route than it is for a government route. So they're still shortchanging the carrier.
James, that went away with Rex. It's the same standards, whether it's POV or government vehicle, for DPS now.
Okay, you can edit that out then. I thought it was.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Was that God?
Yeah, it was God. But POVs, those guys, and you're right. Cars are expensive. I mean, even looking for a vehicle that is for your own personal use these days is even more expensive now than it was ever before. So trying to find one that you could even convert to right-hand drive, granted, we got a great credit in our contract, supposedly, but that doesn't cover the inflation of vehicle prices. Back in the 1990s, you could find a car for $100 that you could fix up in your backyard and run the route with. Now, you can't find one for 10 grand that you can fix up and run your route, let alone get a credit for it through the contract.
What's that? $1,500 now for a used vehicle?
Yes.
At least, yeah. Oh yeah, the credit $1,500, yes.
Yeah.
And it's $3,000 for a new vehicle.
Yep. Now, and this is what hurts, in the POV aspect of the business, because of the price of new vehicles being so high anymore. That's driven up the price of used cars because there's such a demand for people to be able to buy affordable transportation. And as we get further along in the next 10 plus years, repairing a POV is going to be more costly because of all the added safeties on these vehicles, your collision alerts and everything else. And if you hit something with your POV that has these systems in there, it can cost you thousands extra to have them repaired if you're at fault.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess that's the line of reasoning for holding on to 35-year-old LLVs. Because you can hit and get without having to repair anything except for the smudge on the bumper. But it's going to get to the point where, it's going to get too costly to main up POV on routes.
Well, and also we're delivering so many packages. I mean, like I said, how much can you fit in a 4-door Jeep Wrangler nowadays? Not much.
Mhm.
You get 2 or 3 big boxes of dog food. That's it. And there's some
we've all
places. Go ahead.
go ahead. You go ahead.
There's some places where you need an out and out 4-wheel drive. I mean, like, I don't know, West Virginia, the Rocky Mountains, out in Montana, Wyoming, you name it. And then when I had my right-hand drive Jeep, I kind of felt sorry for it because yes, it was right-hand drive, it was 4-wheel drive. I put that thing in 4-wheel drive maybe 4 times in the 5 years that I owned it. I mean, it was very few and far between, but there's some routes where about the only thing that will work is something that is a 4-wheel drive, but you can't put as much in it. I'd love for them to put an NGDV on those routes.
Well, with the latest rural route optimization system, you're going to have to be fording rivers and going through people's backyards. So you're going to need 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Well, might as well put a cow catcher on the front.
Yeah, it's funny. You see these pictures where people have got racks on their roofs filled with parcels, and they're using the spider bungee cords to hold them on there. Or the one guy in the one Facebook post, he had stuff hanging out of the trunk lid bungee corded down on the parcels to hold them in place, and then more parcels on top of the trunk lid against his back windshield, and those were bungee corded in place. I'm like, son, you need to get a bigger vehicle. It's
like a
ridiculous.
Cadillac hearse.
Yes, I love that. From a funeral home.
There was one in Wisconsin. I shit you not, y'all. The license plate said dead letter.
Yep. That was made its way around Facebook multiple times.
I thought that dead letters went to Atlanta.
Ha ha ha.
That's where all mail goes to die. Atlanta.
Palmetto.
And
same neighborhood. Yeah, same neighborhood. Did you see that picture of down there where they were sorting the parcels? All these spurs were all over the floor.
Yep.
I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, that's not a safety hazard."
Yeah, that's not another black eye for the Postal Service.
Oh, hold on.
Never black eye.
Hold on. I know you all see the different platforms on Facebook. What's the OIG doing about these fake stamps that are up for sale on Facebook?
Okay, I've reported those about 5 times, and they Facebook keeps saying that they're legit.
Facebook don't know.
Yeah.
No shit.
I mean, I actually reported them to the OIG 3 years ago and heard nothing back. And here they are. The price of stamps are going up, so now they're going out and having sales now. I'm just, folks, that's our income. And they're close, but they don't have all the attributes of our stamps.
Now, I know that our stamps have a fluorescent or phosphorescent or whatever essence dye that if you hold them under a lamp, they'll illuminate. That's how those machines pick them up. These, I guarantee, don't. And, well, I mean, you can't make this shit up, y'all.
Nope.
Speaking of, you can't make stuff up, Bill, go ahead.
All right. I have struck again in regards to a post that I put up. And it's in relation to our latest magazine, where our president of the NRLCA, Don Madsen, is celebrating our ratified contract, fighting for hard-earned benefits. Thank God I was on the toilet because, I was laughing my ass off and at least the toilet caught it. Don Madsen says that, we have this celebrating a contract ratification with significant achievements. This is in the magazine, word for word. Meaningful wage increases, I put not. Reduces 30 weeks off of table 2. City carriers got steps, not weeks removed. Significant gains for RCAs and ARCs. Well, not according to the latest cost of living data, let alone inflation. And supposedly only 6 out of the hundreds of recommended, voted on resolutions were presented for contract consideration after we worked our asses off to get them passed at our state board levels and pushed up to national. These are the representatives that you voted for last year. And everybody listening and everybody that will listen to the podcast when it's posted, talk to your delegates and ask them, why are we paying these people $190,000 a year plus? They live in $800,000 homes. And then some gentleman retorted to me, well, it's an investment because they've gone up in value. So does your own home, okay? It goes up in value. But the fact that we're providing these homes free with no utility card charges, no internet, no gas, no trash pickup, no sewer and water, they're getting everything paid for on top of their salary. These are the people you voted for last year. They don't care about you. There's not a sniff of 2-year career status as the APW has just passed. We did not eliminate Table 2, as Don stated last year in the magazine when he promised significant wage increases. And let me tell you something. I'm sick and tired of seeing Don Madsen at these rallies. It's nice to get your face out there. Get your ass back in the office and start working for the craft. Better yet, go out in the field and see the craft. Talk to the craft. Become engaged with the craft. The people who are paying you don't want to see your smug face on another damn magazine at a rally touting our unity. The only thing unifying our unions is 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and the NALC and the APW came out ahead of us again. So, kiss my lily white Irish ass. Rant done. Over. Mic drop.
Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah. It's an even 3 for 3.
3 for 3?
ALC. 1.3, 1.4, 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time. I think I'm going to become known as the election / membership guy here. Now is the time to motivate, educate, and recruit people to join the union. It's always the time, but now's the time. Get your people to vote. Get people engaged. Invite the person in your office that's never been to a district meeting to come to a district meeting. Invite people to show up to the state convention as a guest to see how it goes. I've heard for too long, well, I was warned about this union, or what does the union do for me? Well, what Bill said, our leadership's not putting a good face forward. We need to change that. The national board is only as powerful as we want them to be. We have the authority to change it. I would ask a question of the potential president of the NRLCA. May I address you, Mr. Brennan?
Go ahead.
All right. As president, what is your strategy for recruiting new members to the NRLCA?
in person, face to face, getting people out there talking to these people in these offices. Because it's high time that these carriers have interactions with people in this union that can make a difference in their life, that can make a difference in their career. We need people talking to people face to face. You can put whatever you want on a website, you can put whatever you want on Facebook, you can put whatever you want through text message. But that face to face interaction between two people where they can actually look you in the eye and see what your intentions are, that is how we get more people involved. We can talk about it till the cows come home on this podcast, but something has to give because we had 6,000 less people vote on this contract. 6,000 less. Now, you can blame some of that on mail getting stuck in Palmetto or Indianapolis or one of the other SNDC plants that, they can't get things working right. But that's a significant amount of people, especially considering the last three contracts, we had 19, 20, 21,000 people voting. 6,000 people is a big number, and it sits squarely on our current president's shoulders. I made a post about it as well, and I said celebration isn't leadership. A page full of thank yous and photo ops isn't leadership, it's messaging. And messaging doesn't deliver relief. It's not about preserving the comfort at the top. It's about disrupting it when necessary. It's about facing hard truths, telling members what's really happening, and building solutions that do not come wrapped in a ribbon. If you think rural carriers have had it too good for too long, then you have not stood out on a route in the heat, carrying the weight of the system on your back. No one who walks a mile in our shoes today would ever say we have had it too good. They would have said we kept the mail moving through broken systems, broken promises, and broken vehicles. And that's what leadership believes we deserve. Then it's time for us to raise the standard. We deserve more than a contract that just checks a box. We deserve more than empty praise. We deserve respect, safety, and schedules our families can count on. This contract does not deliver anything to help these carriers, and pretending otherwise will not make it true. It passed, that's a fact, but it passed in silence from too many who have lost faith. We should be asking why that is, not patting ourselves on the back. This isn't the end of the road, it's a wake-up call.
What he said. I'm with him. I'm with that guy.
I want to read. Let me go here. I want to retort what Meow said in regards to us having a contract which protects us more from privatization. That was the fear mongering that they were putting out. Privatization is a minimum of 5 to 10 year process in regards to switching us over. Even if they were to convert us under the Chamber of Commerce, privatization still would take that 5 to 10 year window. They fearmongered us into accepting this contract. And our national board put the same story out there. Oh, we don't have to worry because now we're protected by a contract. You know what? If they privatize, your contract goes away. Plain and simple. And that means over 600,000 people will be back on the market fighting for the jobs they used to have at higher pay and benefits. This is where you reach out to a lot lower. And this is where you have to get a hold of your legislative people to fight for this. The same way they turned around and tried to put that program in there for the FERS contributions. All they did was delay it to the 2028. It's still on the table. But they're not telling you that. Oh, we won. We got it off there. Well, no, you didn't. You got it delayed. This is like the Postal Reform Act when you turned around and said, oh, we have to prepay 75 years into the future for retirement and health care benefits. 75 years in the future means you're paying retirement and health benefits for people not born yet. But in the meantime, Congress was able to go in and raid us for the extra money. Did we get any of that money back that we prepaid? No, we didn't. And you'll never see that money again. It's the same way when Jimmy Carter voted for Social Security to be given to immigrants. Hold it, you're paying for people who've never paid into the system. Right off the bat, you're giving them money. And somebody said, well, the immigrants now, some of them pay taxes, this and that. It doesn't offset the cost of the medical, the school, and the housing that we're providing illegal immigrants. That's another subject. I'll stop right there. But the fact of the matter is, they basically were fear-mongering you into saying, go for this contract because, it'll protect us. Bullshit. And they bought it.
Let me go on that, Bill. Let me go on that. Fear-mongering, privatization, new postmaster, new this, new that, this thing, that thing, the other thing. It's always going to happen. The post office always being in a deficit. I can tell you right now, if the post office wanted to, it could be in the positive. It can do that. Now, the problem is you have these people who choose to push these narratives, and then, like Mr. Renfro over at the NALC, push that narrative hard enough that he got an expedited arbitration that he turned into a mediation, got the arbitrator to sign off on that mediation, and shoved the TA that the city carriers voted down their throats with that fear-mongering. Then our president comes out and fear-mongers us. Oh, we're going to get a new postmaster general, so we got to have a contract before he gets in there. We got to have this done so we don't have privatization come down our throats. The fact is, they turn around and try to get you to do things you don't want to do under the fear that if you don't do it, something bad is going to happen. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds definitely a lot like a narcissistic relationship, if you ask me. Because when you are shoving things down people's throats, trying to tell them that you've got to do this or else you're going to lose everything, guess what? People are going to buy that. How many times has management used that against us? And you're sitting there acting like management doing that.
Look,
Why
James,
do we have leaders who are acting like management? Who think carrier questions are bullshit? Those aren't leaders. Those are managers. Go ahead, Bill.
This reminds me a lot about the whole COVID situation. And, yes, it was a pandemic of sorts. Yes, it killed, I don't know how many, because I can't believe any of the numbers. I mean, I remember a guy getting run over by a tractor trailer on a motorcycle, and they tested him for COVID, so they qualified for, extra COVID money from the government. But this reminds me of COVID when, they put the fear of God in everybody, and they stayed home, and, businesses collapsed, industries, went bankrupt in 3 months. And yet we went to work every day. And I don't remember ever catching COVID. I didn't feel good on a couple days here or there, but since I never got the COVID test and nobody in my family got the COVID test and ever, had the symptoms, it was the fear mongering that kept everybody in place. They created this national frenzy. that you got to do all these things. You got to wear gloves. You have to use hand sanitizer. You have to wear the mask. And half the people would wear the mask beneath their nose. Well, okay, what's the transmission phase for COVID? Inhaling it through your nostrils. Okay, I can't figure this out. But it's the same messaging that got out there and created this type of hysteria or fear in people. And, you can't trust the mass media. You can't trust the government. Can't trust Facebook. But, guess what? I trusted my own common sense, took care of myself and my family with our precautions, and we never had a problem. Vaccinations? No, thank you. You're not putting stuff into me that hasn't been approved, and you've given the pharmaceutical companies a pass on any liability. No, I'm not that much of a sheep. I'm glad that some people have gone through it and got their vaccinations. They're fine and everything. But no, I'm not a sheep. I'm not following it just because you say, there's a major contagion out there that's going to kill you. Driving a postal vehicle can kill you. Working in this heat can kill you. Road rage can kill you. But guess what? COVID's going to sneak up and get you. No, thank you. We're not talking about privatization and COVID in the same breath. We're talking about the fear-mongering aspect of their messaging. They're trying to, get you to react to the message they're putting out there. And Don reacted. He put an agreement out there that basically the USPS wanted to. 9,000 people bought it.
Bill, I will say this. As much as I disagree with how those 9,000 people voted, I give them props for voting.
Oh, I'm not giving them props for voting. Or
I give props.
The 4,000.
I give props to the 14,000. 14,000 I give props to for actually voting. Whether they agreed to it, got fear-mongered into it, whatever, they voted. You gotta give credit that they actually paid the postage and filled out the form to vote, especially in areas that don't get visited by their union representation.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to remember, when a craft isn't educated on everything that's going on, they're going to vote blind on this stuff. I remember a carrier actually making the statement, I voted yes because I want them to go to arbitration.
What?
Yes. Somebody actually said that. Now, I don't know if it was sarcasm or truth, but it was a statement made on social media that they voted yes, so it would go to arbitration.
I think they might have been playing for emotional.
Wow. That's kind of backfired, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So. All right, guys.
And I want to respond to Meow that I've known people who died from COVID too, and most of them had underlying conditions. Not all, but most of them did, and most of them were elderly. The fact of the matter is that you have to take your own personal health in perspective and act accordingly. But for the mass immunization, we worked in the post office. We worked 6 to 8 feet away from each other. We interact with each other for the years through COVID. And yet nobody in our office died of COVID. We interacted with customers. I have no one on my route that died from COVID. I've had neighbors pass away from COVID. Everybody has to take responsibility for their own personal health and welfare. That wasn't my message. My message is that you're following along with the mass media. I never took any precautions above and beyond a mask and washing my hands all the time, which I do normally because the mail is dirty. You don't know who used your truck last. They're filthy. But the fact of the matter is I just practice, normal hygiene, and I was fine. Go ahead, James.
I like to joke before James. May I just say, I like to joke that during COVID, I'm like, yeah, this is serious. This is a legitimate health concern for some people. But the fact is, I've been here for 9 years dealing with nasty mail, and I ain't died yet. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it, someone licking an envelope, it's just yeah. It'll kind of give you the ick if you think about it. If that's one of those things, like if you listen to lyrics of songs that you used to like as a kid, you're like, oh my God, I listened to this shit and I thought it was good. If you think about stuff like that or licking an envelope, it's like, hold on a minute.
And let
Oh,
and let me
okay.
tell you, when you lick an envelope and you cut your tongue, that's no joke.
Done it,
Mm,
done it,
mm,
done it.
mm. We all know what that feels like.
Oh,
That's like a paper cut underneath the fingernail. That's right up there.
Mm, mm. Okay, on that note, let's wind this down for the night.
I
it's like
say
That's your
bamboo.
final thought.
It's like bamboo shoots being shoved underneath your finger. Oh no, that's what I used to do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Josh, your final thoughts for the evening?
Like I said, it's hot, hot, hot. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Safety, safety, safety. Am I gonna talk in triples? Maybe, maybe, maybe. Yeah, I'm a poet and I didn't know it, okay? In all seriousness, y'all. Do your job. Do it safely. Do it with pride. We're being watched by management, by customers, and by our own coworkers, if you catch my drift. I'm watching. I'm watching when people don't do their vehicle inspections and I get back to the office, but their tires are bald in the front. And I bring a manager out there. I said, look at this shit. Okay. We need to make sure that we're safe. If that means you stay in the office like James did and turn his mail, fine. He got back in 8 hours, as you so eloquently put, James.
Mm-hmm.
At this time of year, if you need to case your DPS so you're working out of less bundles because it's hotter than ever loving shit outside, I'd say do it because we are technically allowed to case our DPS. We are in command of our own safety out there. Not our coworkers, not management, us. It is incumbent upon us to do all that we can to be safe. As they so eloquently say, we are the most important delivery at the end of the day. Get your ass home to your family. And if you don't have family, you might have a pet or something or someone that is waiting on you to get home. Okay? I do not want to hear one more report of a carrier getting sick or, God forbid, dying to this heat. Our job is dangerous enough. We do our job, and the all I ask is that we do it safely. God bless y'all, and it's gonna be hot again next week. There's gonna be rain probably everywhere. Be safe. We saw with Texas, flooding can come out of nowhere. So always be aware. If you don't feel safe, bring it back. Let management know. Fill out a 1767. Turn around, don't drown. Okay, James, I'm done.
Bill, your final thoughts?
Well, let me address Mr. Johnson, who wanted to know about bringing up resolutions and changes only in the spring. We do them all year long. We start working on them as soon as the last session in our first meeting. So you don't have to wait to the spring to do it. We do it all year long, and you should too. I like the fact that we can get on this format and disagree and agree and argue in regards to our beliefs and everything else, and and we're doing it in a respectful manner. We're not calling each other names and poo-pooing everybody else's opinions. Everybody's opinion is valuable. The fact of the matter is that when I express my feelings, these are what I feel based on my upbringing, the experiences that I have had by being in the post office for 26 years, being a union representative, being a local officer for over 20 years, and being retired for less than a year, and I'm still active every day of the week in regards to answering people's questions and queries in regards to contractual language or disciplinary actions. A gentleman on Facebook said, well, you're retired now. Thank you for your service and all that. Well, the fact of the matter is, I still have more input than most carriers who are in the union or aren't even in the union. But in regards to, getting things resolved for carriers, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, 26 years in the post office, they're my family. And I don't abandon my family just because I changed my designation as a active carrier to a retired carrier. They're still my family. And I've got customers who are family to me too. So I appreciate everybody who comes in and has a difference of opinion and is willing to discuss them and is respectful in regards to how we discuss them. This is the foundation of United We Scan, that we can inform each other, discuss, argue, debate, but we're here all for one thing, and that's for the fact that we are here for you. We're not doing this and getting paid for it. We're taking our time and effort, energy out in doing this. Kristen's made the investments in regards to the recording equipment. This is a family affair to me. But the thing to me that is most important is that we stick together on the issues that are really important, that we can unify behind. Yes, we can not agree on everything, and you never will be. Ask my wife of 37 years. But the fact of the matter is, you stand united and you protect everybody's interests, not just your own. That's the basis of a union. Everyone, not just one or two or three people, but everyone. So, with that in mind, please keep that in mind. Help protect your fellow carriers from harassment, from dangerous situations, from being threatened, from being harassed. Step up, be a voice for the union, be a voice for that individual. You don't even have to be a union member to step up to protect somebody. I mean, acts of heroism happen every day across the world. And it's not because they're black or white, not because they're Catholic or Muslim. It's because it's the thing to do. It's the right thing to do. You guys are going to have another hot, wet weekend, depending on where you're at. You're probably still going to have an influx of Amazon Prime days coming at you Monday, on top of the rest of the bullshit Mondays bring. Go out there, do your job professionally, efficiently, safely. Make sure your vehicles are in good shape, ready to go. Get the job done and go home. You are the most important delivery of the day to your loved ones and to us. Like Josh said, we don't want to see any more reports about people having heat stroke or dying. Job's not worth it. There's not a job out there worth it. And you didn't sign up for it unless you're in the military. You're not in the military. You work for the United States Postal Service. Deliver your ass home to your loved ones. God bless you and all. Have a good night, good week. James?
Thank you, guys. You're right. It's important that we take care of each other. We are a family. We are brothers and sisters of the craft. And we may not get along. You may not like me. I may not like you. But anybody messes with my brothers and sisters, I'm going after them. It doesn't matter if you and I fight with each other. You call me names. I get upset about it. or you post anonymously and try to put me down in front of the entire craft. That's fine. We're brothers and sisters. That's what how families are. But when you are in trouble or you need help and you reach out privately to me, I'm going to respond. I'm going to help you because that's what brothers and sisters do for each other. We are here as a craft to do a job. And that job is to take the mail we are given, the packages we are given, and deliver them to our customers diligently and faithfully every day we are assigned. We are not here to deal with idiotic management, micromanagement, harassment, toxic work environments, hostile acts, violence, any of that stuff. We're here to come do a task, get it done, and get paid on payday. Management doesn't seem to understand that one bit. So we have to protect each other every single day. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. Have a good week, everybody, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Good night and good luck.